Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Am I the Asshole? If you enjoy hearing Reddit stories, it would really support the channel if you could like or subscribe. Let's get started with our first story. Am I the asshole for telling my father to get over the vase my son broke? When I was a teenager, my father bought a large glass vase, which he filled with wine corks. For years, it stayed on top of a small table in the living room. My family visits him monthly for lunch. Last October, my son was running around my father's living room and accidentally knocked the table over, which caused the vase to fall down and break. I immediately apologized and offered to buy a new vase. My husband and I also cleaned everything up. My father declined my offer to replace it. At the time, he said he understood it was an accident and was just glad my son hadn't gotten hurt. He was 2 years old at the time, and there was a lot of glass on the floor. During the next couple of months, I apologized and offered to pay for a new vase multiple times. My father continued saying it was fine. However, earlier this year, my father started talking about how much he loved the cork vase and how expensive it had been back when he bought it. As the following months went by, his complaints began to escalate. He'd make comments about the fact that my son broke the vase almost every time we came over. Occasionally, he'd also joke that we should plan our visits with longer notice so that he could hide his valuables from my kid. Last week, he threw a party at his place, which we attended. A friend of his who hadn't visited in a while noticed the vase was gone and asked about it, to which my father replied that my little shit had broken it and I hadn't replaced it. My husband was nearby and heard it. After the party, I confronted my father and we fought. He said that he had the right to complain about the fact that my son had damaged his property. I told him that while he has the right to be upset, the fact that he declined my offer to buy him a new vase does not entitle him to complain about me not doing it. He can either retract his forgiveness and work something out with me, or get over the vase and stop blaming my toddler for the accident. I won't have him calling my son names over this. My father is still insisting I'm in the wrong here. Am I the asshole? Edit. I recommend reading my comments. Plenty of people are making assumptions that I'm clarifying in my replies. My father replied that my little shit had broken it. Not the asshole. But is this normal behavior for your father? Does he have a history of name-calling or treating your child badly? Is little shit an extreme insult in his usual lexicon, or some kind of weird term of affection? He has no such history, but he does get frustrated that there are limitations that come with having a toddler around. That has led to some minor arguments in the past, but he loves my son and doesn't mistreat him. Then don't blow this up into some big deal. People get old and more crotchety. That's life. You need to buy a replacement vase and have your kid present it to grandpa with excitement. The end. I haven't mentioned the vase in months. My father is the only one doing so. The only reason I'm getting involved now, it's because his comments are getting worse. The solution would be to buy him a vase for Father's Day, his B-Day, Christmas, every holiday. Buy him a vase in perpetuity. Make him so plentiful with vases, he wishes he never sees another vase again. Problem solved. Enta? Not the asshole. FFS, your son was a toddler doing toddler things. Your dad should have toddler-proof the house. You offered to pay for a new vase, he declined. He can STF you about it. I always thought collecting and displaying wine corks was bizarre. Hey, look at how much I drink, everyone. Am I the asshole for eloping with my husband and taking the experience away from my sister, according to my aunt? Long story short, my husband, 30 male, and I, 31 female, got married in a different state than our families reside. My husband had not yet had a chance to meet my distant relatives, including my aunt, before we eloped. Our wedding was just the two of us and our officiant on a pretty hiking trail in TN. Quick, cute little ceremony. We said our vows, exchanged rings, took some pics, and that was it. I had told my family about 2 weeks before that I was going to do this. My sister has always wanted me to have a wedding, so she could be my maid of honor. She was disappointed, but ultimately said it was my choice. About a week later, we went on vacation with my aunt, who voiced that she felt I took away my sister's experience, and also told me that she didn't like my husband and was angry because she didn't get to meet him before we got married. My husband responded with womp womp, which ended up making her even more angry. Additional info. When I asked my sister how she felt about what my aunt said, she replied with, "That's a conversation for just you and I to have once, and then it be done. Your aunt sounds insufferable and butting into things that are none of her business." I love your husband's response to bitter old auntie. You took nothing away from your sister. It was her dream to be a MOH, not your requirement. I would steer clear of the bitter aunt. She is a troublemaker, not the asshole. Congratulations on your nuptials. F. How is your wedding an experience for your sister? In what kind of fed-up world you need to throw a wedding, spend shit ton of money and time so your sister gets to dress up and play maid of honor? God forbid you want a best friend as maid of honor. That would give your aunt a heart attack. Not the asshole. Additional info. When I asked my sister how she felt about what my aunt said, she replied with, "That's a conversation for just you and I to have once, and then it be done. Talk to your sister privately and be done with this." That's apparently what she wants. It was not your aunt's place to communicate your sister's supposed disappointment. You are under no obligation to have a wedding for the benefit of others. You had the wedding you wanted, and that's all that matters. It appears your husband acted in an immature fashion with his comment, but I wasn't there to hear your aunt's verbiage and tone of voice. It's possible that he was entirely correct in making his comment. Best wishes for a happy marriage. Well, that's another episode of Am I the Asshole in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.